Just as The Acolyte has started to wind down, Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, another unqualified activist director, has started to stoke the fires for the upcoming Rey movie that nobody wants. Hello, I'm Marvin, and I'm the Movie Monster. Is there anyone out there who actually likes Rey Palpatine? I enjoy Daisy Ridley as a person and as an actress, but the character she played in the Disney Star Wars trilogy was horrifically written, with two egomaniac idiots playing tug-of-war with her past and motivations, creating an unlikable, nothing-burger, perfect princess of a character that has become the archetype for Mary Sue's strong female characters. Now, just as we're about to exorcise the demon that is the Acolyte and Leslie Headland from our lives together, we just got a reminder that we're not out of the woods yet. Activist documentary director Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, an unabashed militant feminist who brags about how the purpose of her work is to make men uncomfortable, is a Kathleen Kennedy perfect storm in her quest to remake Star Wars from a boys' brand that some girls liked to a girls' brand that nobody likes. Now, we haven't heard much from this unqualified hacktivist in a while, leading many to believe that she may have been kicked off the project. There've been a ton of rumors flying around stating that she's completely out of her depth on this one, and Lucasfilm might have to cut ties. But in a recent interview, she discussed the supposedly upcoming film and detailed her primary goals in creating it. And spoiler alert, it's not to make a great Star Wars movie. Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, a name that I have been very happy to not have to say for the last couple months, has claimed Rey Skywalker, I hate that they call her that, is the heart of Star Wars and implies that the film will continue to inject feminism into Star Wars. An article from our friends at That Park Place, written by editor-in-chief John Trent, who is the man. Here she is, folks. Hacktivist, documentary director Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, who is directing the Rey movie. Who has said some really just stupid things since being announced as the lead of this. So director Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, who has been announced to direct the upcoming Rey film, recently shared more details on the project and heavily implied it will inject more feminism into Star Wars. Just what we need. Just what we need. That's what the audience is clamoring for. Oh, all of our projects are failing. What's the answer, Kathy? I know.
Put a chick in it. Make her gay.
We'll have to pander more. Good job, guys.
And then Bob Iger is all like, what's going on with my stars?
So she was speaking with Variety about her upcoming Diane von Furstenberg documentary, which, by the way, this is what she does. Like, she directs things like this and like an episode of Ms. Marvel. And she's the one they're giving this probably $300 million movie to direct. She has absolutely no idea what she's doing. She's never done anything on this level. Normally, as a director, you start with smaller projects and you work your way up. She's a documentary director, unless like this was going to be like a mockumentary, which I'm not going to lie, I'd be kind of into. So she said what attracted her to the film was the story interests me most is Rey's journey as a female Jedi. Why do we need the identifier there? Why? There is no stigma around a female Jedi in Star Wars. None. We've had a ton of female Jedi in Star Wars. We have a show going on right now with a ton of female Jedi in Star Wars. And, you know, characters like Ahsoka Tano, apparently Sabine Wren, characters like Luminara, characters like Barriss Offee. We've had so many awesome female Jedi. We got to watch Jedi Master Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi, just like whooping on Count Dooku. And what interests me the most is Rey's journey as a female Jedi. That's how I can best bring my experiences to it. And that's just it. We don't want your experiences, Sharmeen. We want Star Wars. Nobody cares about you and your experiences. This is the Leslie Headland stuff that she said before The Acolyte. And we all see how this has turned out, when she was like, my experience as a queer woman are going to inform like a lot of the content you're going to see. I can't do a Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy impression, folks, because, you know, that would be racist. So she went on to detail who she hopes to attract to this new movie. Good Lord. We know who you want to attract, Sharmeen. Spoiler alert, they're not coming. She says, the greatest thing about Star Wars is that everyone has a personal connection to it. Everyone is passionate about it. Yeah, I'm sure you think that Star Wars fan passion is great, considering what you're about to go through. And throughout the fandom, people have clear ideas about who should direct or what the story should be about. And there it is. There's the veiled attack at the fandom. Like, oh, you all don't think I should do this. No, we don't. Because you're not qualified to do it. You are a documentarian. You are not you have never directed a big budget production before. You did one episode of the worst viewed Marvel show of all time. I don't know, maybe Secret War beat it, but at the time it was. And I don't hate Ms. Marvel. I actually thought it was all right. Yeah, I didn't despise it. It wasn't She-Hulk, but like still, she has no experience doing this. And throughout the fandom, people have clear ideas on who should direct and what the story should be about. I'm just drowning out those voices until I'm done. So in other words, I'm not listening to anything the fans have to say. The fans are wrong. I'm right. My vision is what happens. And all I care about, the thing that interests me is Rey's journey as a female Jedi.
Fools! Idiots! Imbeciles!
Give me a break. By the way, you know, I don't give the sequel trilogy much, but I will say, like, yes, was Rey a Mary Sue? Absolutely. But if Rey was a guy, I would be calling her I don't know, Gary Drew or whatever the equivalent is over there, because that's just the way the character was written. It just so happened that she was a female. And, you know, we all know that, like, Kathleen Kennedy's injecting, you know, strong women into Star Wars, but Rey's journey was never about her being a female Jedi, even in those movies. It was just about her being a Jedi, which, you know, wasn't really much of a journey. She was just, like, really good at everything, like, immediately, doing mind tricks and whatever. But a rant for another day, folks. As a storyteller, I'm focused on drawing new moviegoers into the cinema. That's the key there, because that's all they want. They want to replace the Star Wars fan base with a new fan base that thinks like them. The problem is those people ain't coming. Those people are on TikTok right now, okay? They're not looking at this. And bringing a sense of nostalgia that will appeal to older fans of the series. No, you're not. What nostalgia? Nostalgia for what, Rey? Rey has not been around long enough for there to even be nostalgia, first of all. And second of all, nobody liked those movies. The first one made $1 gajillion, all right? The Last Jedi was also highly successful, but less successful than the first one. And then Rise of Palpatine, or Rise of Skywalker, whatever you want to call it, was even worse. I mean, yes, they all made money, but it was diminishing returns over time. And that's not what you want to see in a movie trilogy. You think the Avengers? You think the Avengers had diminishing returns between the Avengers and Endgame? No, Endgame was for a while until, you know, until James Cameron played the system, was the highest grossing movie of all time. That's how you're supposed to grow. She also discussed the film in an interview with SiriusXM. Okay, so she discussed it in an interview that no one heard. Sometimes you walk in the footsteps of people and giants who've created worlds. And in the case of Star Wars, George Lucas's world. Oh, God, they're going to talk about... Whenever these people talk about George, I get so mad because, like, they have no respect for him and they just want him to go away. It's very clear. George Lucas's world and the filmmakers that have walked in his footsteps have set this world that they want young viewers to sort of walk into and have an understanding of the world. She then detailed what is at the heart of the Star Wars world. Now, please inform us about what's at the heart of Star Wars, please, Sharmeen. At the heart of it for me is Rey Skywalker, is Daisy Ridley, and I hate when they call her that. Was the biggest FU to the fans when she calls herself a Skywalker. Her story and taking on an adventure to a Jedi Academy and sort of creating a world that is a natural dovetail to the story that we've seen her go through the last 3 episodes. What story would that be, Sharmeen? What story? What was her arc? What story did she go through? There was no arc. 2 egomaniacs played tug of war with the most important movie franchise of our generation, the most important trilogy of all time. Okay, that this company spent billions upon billions of dollars for and has not made its money back yet because it was fumbled so badly. Because Kathleen Kennedy, all her entire purpose in this was to inject agenda and make Star Wars a girls' brand. She had no idea what she wanted to do as far as story went, and she let these egomaniac directors, J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, have full creative control over everything they did. So J.J. set it up. Rian Johnson subverted expectations and just, you know, destroyed everything that was set up in The Force Awakens. And then J.J. spent the final installment of this trilogy trying to undo all of Rian Johnson's undoing of the first movie. So it was just ridiculously mismanaged from the get-go. The reason why the Infinity Saga of Marvel worked was because it's the exact thing that all the directors that worked on it hated. It was the fact that Marvel was very clear on where you had to go. It knew the story that it wanted to tell from movie to movie, and you had to play in that sandbox. And the directors might have hated it because their creative vision was stifled. But you know who liked it? The fans, the people that paid the money. They actually paid money and went to see this stuff. This is why Star Wars is failing, because we care more about the whims of egomaniacs than we care about what the paying customer wants. All right, so she says, taking to a Jedi Academy, sort of creating a dovetails the story we've seen in the last 3 episodes, and working with Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy and the team over there in breathing life to characters that everyone loves and has fallen in love with, and finding new characters that the next generation of moviegoers will fall in love with. Yes, those movies with those characters that everyone loves, like Rey and Finn and Poe and Rose Tico and Admiral Holdo. Yeah, everyone loved everyone that was put into these. I shouldn't be that harsh. People like Finn. Finn was good. If the movie was about Finn, I think it would have been good. A former stormtrooper becomes a Jedi and trains with Luke Skywalker. That's an elevator pitch that you're getting me on. From there, she detailed who she's been collaborating with to bring the film to life. I've had conversations with J.J. Abrams. Full stop. You're already doomed. Full stop. I've had conversations with George Lucas. He probably thought you were a fan who was pitching him more ideas for like fan fiction. That's great, kid. Who do I make this out to? Sharmeen, how do you spell that? And then, of course, Dave Filoni. Good Lord. If there is ever anyone who has, taken a from his wife, it's Dave Filoni, who's a big part, who's a big part of the Star Wars universe now. We speak very often. Yeah, we've seen they're trying desperately to make Dave Filoni the scapegoat for the Acolyte, and it's hysterical because he's the guy they're going to pin it all on. Oh, it was the white man that ruined this. And Kathleen Kennedy and Carrie Beck and Simon Emanuel. I mean, I think the team is really taking time to make sure that we do justice to telling the story of Daisy. No, you're supposed to be telling the story of Rey, not of Daisy Ridley. I think that she stands for something. We've seen this wonderful journey she went on in episodes 7, 8, and 9. What wonderful journey. One day she was like, hey, I can be a Jedi. I'm just going to do it, with all of the preparedness that George W. Bush had in that Robot Chicken sketch where he was like, hey, can I be one of them Jedis? And then he was like mind tricking Condoleezza Rice into having a freeway with him. John Trent goes on to say that it's no surprise the film injects more feminism into Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy made it clear that her goal all the way back in 2015 during an appearance at Fortune magazine's The Most Powerful Women's Summit, that this was what she wanted to do. She said, I think the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products. Because there were a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls. I'm trying to do a Wicked Witch of the West voice there because that's what she is, but I don't know if it's coming off right. She continued, and when you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we're all looking at the situation saying, no, with Star Wars, we have to change this. We have to make sure that we create products that are in a sense appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that? Let me tell you what's wrong with that, Kathy. Because there are major differences between boys and girls and what they like. I'm sorry. That's just the way it's always been. That's why there are G.I. Joes and that's why there are Barbies. And yes, some girls like to play with G.I. Joes. Some boys like to play with Barbies. That doesn't mean we need to market Barbie to boys. It doesn't mean we have to market G.I. Joe to girls. It means that there are some boys and girls brands that there's some crossover appeal. Star Wars was one of those. There were a lot of girls who liked Star Wars the way that it was. They enjoyed it. It was a boys' brand that girls could like. Now it is a girls' brand that girls don't like, and neither do boys. Nobody likes it. We have seen Disney try this repeatedly with Star Wars and Marvel. They tried to take it from a boys' brand that girls like, and they try to make it a girls' brand, and women don't show up for it because they don't want it. She added that 50% of the executive team are women, 6 out of 8 of the people in her story group are women. And of course, she said this back in 2015, I'd like to remind you. And then Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy said in an interview, it's about time that a woman is in charge of, gets to shape a galaxy far, far away. It's about time? It's about time? Really? Really, Sharmeen? Because Kathleen Kennedy has been shaping this universe since Disney bought it. Then you had Deborah Chow as the director of every episode of Obi-Wan. You've had Bryce Dallas Howard directing episodes of The Mandalorian. You have, for better or worse, and really it's worse, Leslie Headland running The Acolyte. Women have been shaping Star Wars for years at this point. Just everybody wants to be the first. Everyone wants to do something. They all want to stand in front of this smeared tampad and smile for the camera the way they are. Just absolutely ridiculous what they've done to this franchise. Yeah, here's the quote. I am very thrilled about the project because I think we're about to create something very special. We are in 2024 now, and I think it's about time we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away. Stop it. That's all they do. She also said in 2015, one of her goals with the documentary she makes is to make men uncomfortable. So this is who you've got, running your Star Wars going forward, folks. A woman who has said that her purpose is to make men uncomfortable. So now the question is this movie actually going to happen? Will Kathleen Kennedy finally bring another movie into theaters? We have not seen a movie since The Rise of Skywalker because of the major bomb that was Solo and the diminishing returns we got from that trilogy. So we've had plenty of movies be announced that never ended up happening. So now the question remains, is this Rey movie happening? Or are we all going to be spared its inevitable release? A lot of Star Wars fans, including myself, are hoping that this Rey movie is just another Disney Star Wars project that gets announced but never made. But we all hope that about The Acolyte too, and that happened. So I do think we're going to inevitably have to suffer through Rey remaking the Jedi and finally making them a force for good in the universe. Anyway, check back every day for new content reacting to the insanity that is Hollywood. Thanks for joining the Monster Movement, and we're thrilled to have you. Also, check out our sister channel, Tooneytown Wrestling, for all the pro wrestling news, and check out That Game Place, the That Park Place gaming channel, which I am a regular contributor to. Please like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell icon to get notified of new videos as they drop. From all of us here at Tooneytown TV, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!